Yes, so of course I will be covering about who all can do a STEM course, and yes, with the new regulatory compliance policies, you don't actually have to always be a business or commerce graduate to get into a course like that. You can very well be a business or commerce graduate or a humanities graduate to get into a technology course. You don't necessarily have to be from the same domain now. There are certain limitations or restrictions around that, but not so many that you will not be able to find a single course that will take you as a business graduate into a technology postgraduate program. So that's something that I'm going to speak about. And we'll make it super quick. I just want this space to be super interactive. And so I'm just going to give you my agenda. So we'll start with how does the US give you a good, robust, lucrative market to study your technology course, but also to find the right career for yourself. And I will, going forward, I will talk to you about what are some of the five most employable STEM courses and the difference between DA, AI, cybersecurity, all of that. I'll talk to you about IT and MBAs. And so then I'll take you through how does the Silicon Valley look like? How do you get into Silicon Valley? We'll talk to you about different parts of the United States that are really influential. We'll talk about two more countries, the UK and Germany, where doing a tech course also makes sense and is and can be very lucrative. And then I'll talk to you about the careers of computer science, data analytics, bioinformatics, and if you're doing an MBA in the United States. And so, with all that said and done, I'll also take you through some of our portfolio and which are some of the universities that we can get you in. And then, of course, how does the visa really differ when you were a non-technical background student moving into a technological degree? Um, I think now should be a good time to start. Wishing all of you a super good afternoon slash evening. Thank you so much for joining us on a Saturday. Super glad and super excited, keen to be hosting this space for you. The topic for the webinar today is some of the top five most employable courses in the United States. And I'll start with first things first. Why the United States? So the US is the largest economy in the world. And if you've heard about the robust academic standards, you would know that about one third of the top 100 universities across the world are just in the US. Talk about Stanford, talk about MIT, talk about Harvard, talk about Cornell, Columbia, University of Pennsylvania, Georgia Tech, Carnegie Mellon, Northwestern, some of these best universities, Michigan, in fact, they're all based in the United States. And the Fortune 500 companies that nearly one fourth of them are just US based, of course. The concept of data science, the concept of aeronautical sciences, the concept of metaverse, blockchain, AI, everything was once stemmed from the United States. And what so here's the most interesting part. Now, I'm sure all of you agree to me when I say that the US is in fact hands down one of the most robust, lucrative, rigorous academic and you know by virtue of the working environment, one of the best places in the world to study. But some of you may not agree on the longevity of your career in the US, but that's where I'm here to clear that doubt that the US is essentially gives you a 1-year post-study work visa. But if you're doing a STEM course in the United States, then you get a 2-year extension of your work visa. So essentially you're getting a 3-year work visa now in the United States if you do a tech or a STEM degree. Now, not necessarily does STEM have to mean a science degree. STEM MBAs out there, so which is 75% MBA management and 25% of a component like business and analytics or cybersecurity or XYZ, which makes it a STEM MBA, which is so lucrative. Now, all of these STEM courses, the salaries would go upwards of about 100,000 United States dollars. Sometimes some of our universities, like Clark Yeshiva in New York and the East Coast, mostly will give you 160, 170,000 USD of salary, right? And one other interesting part is the US has a concept called CPT, curricular practical training. A curricular practical training would essentially be that after two successful terms in the US, your study terms, let's say a semester or trimester or XYZ, you can actually go on part-time work outside the campus, and you can, you will have to get a STEM relevant um, job assignment, and then you can even work part-time in the US. So here's the top 5 most employable STEM courses in the United States at this point. Now, also just wanted to brief you about what really is STEM. STEM is science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Almost about, say, close to about 66% of the jobs that are going to be in place by 2025 are just STEM jobs. And nobody knows about them. Nobody can predict them. Um, that is how fast and dynamically STEM as a domain is growing. Almost you will see an automation in every single field, be it healthcare, be it finance, be it manufacturing, be it engineering, be it um, you know any daily industry that's actually robust enough to have AI be embedded into it is going to change. We can already see the concept of smart factories where everything is IoT and cloud computing enabled. So STEM talent is increasingly becoming the most sought after talent in the world, starting from data science. Data science alone is the most powerful domain in the world right now, the most talked about, and in fact, the most influential domain in the world. Essentially, what really does data science mean? This means that you procure a certain set of data from the data points that you've marked in the customer journey. You clean that, you remove any extra information that you don't need. You start visualizing it and trying to find unusual or unseen patterns. And then finally, you do a predictive modeling, which means that you can predict future trends um, by trying to assess and analyze chunks of data. Um, Data science is heavily being used in some of the largest businesses in the world to make more data-driven decision making and reduce the dependency on human beings. Now, if if you can get your hands deep into any one of these steps, then it makes sense. So computer science or the entire MSCS domain will help you use languages, programming, the pre-processing, removing all the abnormalities, um, removing and trying to clean this and trying to set up a data stream, trying to put down data points and extrapolating or extracting the exact information you need. Data science has a huge component of mathematical statistical aptitude where you know how to do basic algorithmic design, where you know that what how to make sense of so much of information, fact, figures, how do statistics work, what does this chunk of data mean, and what can I predict by remodeling it and trying to see how does what happen. With regression, you've got linear regression, logistical regression. So that's a little bit part of machine learning in Python. And then finally, domain knowledge, which means essentially what does this mean? So with see, I told you that data science is actually going to be used in every single business across the world. So even if you're not a data science or a computer science student, but you've got a lot of domain knowledge, you can pretty much enter a data analytics course as long as you understand your industry. So for example, if you're a medical student, you can pick up this field called MS Data Science with Health Analytics or MS Data Analytics with Bioinformatics. The only three skills that you will have to learn is a little bit of data engineering using those tools. You will have to learn a little bit of machine learning, and eventually you will have to be more better with research and analysis. And you can essentially be the conduit of your domain and of the data science experts. So anyone can technically enter. Here's So you would see that some of these courses across the US will be called data analytics. Some of them will be called data analytics and visualization. Some of them will be called data science courses. A data science course will typically be from collect all the way to aggregate and label. And then when you talk about data analytics, that's essentially collect, move, store, explore, transform, and all the way to label, in some of these. So um, essentially, you find or build mechanisms to collect, code it, and then you manage the infrastructure, clean it, and build predictive models and visualize the data. You will go from collect to label. So specifically in the US, science and analytics, regardless of what it's called, is pretty much going to be same. Analytics is mostly going to be the specific part of visualization, mostly, which is the aggregate label part. Um, and then when it comes to AI and machine learning, that the upper two hierarchical layers is what AI focuses. So artificial intelligence needs almost everything down below to actually happen, because you regulate a certain data stream. Once you do that, you put codes on it, you use tools, finally automate certain parts of certain actions in the value chain, or the stream of actions that a business is responsible for, essentially. Machine learning is again that considering the past behavior of users or consumers, you automate certain aspect of it, and then you test and see what really happens, what does not, and and eventually lead on to better models of how would you want a business to react or respond to user needs, right? So the second most sought after course is MSAI. So data science course will lead you to become a data engineer, data analyst, or get you a job in big data specialist XYZ. AI would make you an ML engineer, AI engineer. Now, how are AI and data science different? So the field of data science and machine learning ideally helps businesses use more or make more systems dependent on machine driven automated decision making, as long as they've got a good enough chunk of consumer data and how they responded to different actions in the value chain in the past, right? Data engineering is more of a software engineering, computer science field. If you are typically coding and building the infrastructure all the way from the lowermost hierarchy, where you're talking about where do I collect this, how do I store this, and then how do I clean this, and finally how do I visualize it? So all of it. And AI would use your computer science skills. So AI has a lot of computer science component to it, and of course AI has a lot of machine learning component and typical DS component to it. You, an AI expert would ideally be a computer engineer, should be one, and should also know data science tools like Python R. Now, essentially, what I'm heading to or trying to hint you at is, if you're not a computer science background student, AI may not be the one for you when you are suddenly trying to switch. It should be data engineering or data science. But remember, this will involve certain programming skills, which are not difficult. In fact, upGrad, for all you know, we've got certain courses that start with Triple ID Bangalore's Advanced Certificate Program in Data Science. You learn Python R, machine learning, visualization, natural language processing, machine learning, linear regression, logistical regression, forecasting. You learn all of these things, and then when you go to the US, it's going to be super easy for you. I'll explain you the structure a little later from now. Then you've got MS Project Management. Project management, jobs in the US will increase by 11%. So just this year alone, they increased by 3.5 lakh. And you know what? About 64% of all IT job descriptions in the United States to 2021 to 2022 had project management skills listed down on the job description. Essentially, what I'm saying is project management is the easiest switch from a business commerce background to an IT background. What they're supposed to do is they're supposed to liaise with stakeholders across companies. So project management managers are mini CEOs of a specific project where they delegate stuff to their team. where they make sure that the client deadlines are met with, where they ensure that they are the face of the project for the client and they're taking regular feedback on and working on an agile or scrum methodology and trying to make sure that the product, whether it's an app, website, or XYZ, is built within time and has enough of stakeholders' intervention in it, and you get the work done from your team. So it's essentially it's a huge managerial role. You should understand, which person on your team has what kind of skills and um, what kind of feedback would you like to give, because you're the person, you're the conduit between the stakeholder and your company. So essentially, it's the head chef, right? So whenever there's a large kitchen involved of any hotel, everybody's doing their job, but the head chef makes sure that he's the orchestrator and making sure that whatever comes out of the kitchen is super aligned to what the brand or what the story or what the essential theme of the restaurant is. So that is the PM job in it, right? Uh, PM this year, I think in 2022, salaries were as high as 200,000 USD. They start as early as 95 to $100,000, right? Project managers are also supposed to represent the company for a stakeholder and ensure that they're juggling between five or six different projects. The other part that a project manager essentially does is a consultant to company on the cybersecurity front, UI, UX front, backend front, front end front on every single thing. Finally, it's the MS information technology. IT can mean anything from system development, distribution, network engineering, software engineering, cybersecurity is an IT, IoT, Internet of Things, and cloud computing. So you must have heard that during COVID, there was a lot of transformation of every business. Every business wanted to go digital, wanted to operate entirely on metaverse, or also operate on metaverse, or have enough virtual presence and an e-commerce infrastructure. IT experts are actually, the most sought after in that case. IT experts will make sure that you have from A to Z, from scratch to full, complete infrastructure of supporting an IT system, whether in a hotel, whether in a hospital, whether in a factory, whether in a manufacturing plant, whether in an engineering plant, whether in a um, financial company, whether in MNC. It's one of the most sought after fields. So IT is in fact very, 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 very important. Then you've got STEM MBA. That's the one that I wanted to speak to you about before I introduce every university. STEM MBA essentially means that you can be a BBA, BCom, BA, any graduate, and you can actually do an MBA, but in a STEM field like cybersecurity, like IT, like business and analytics. Project management and MBA are not so different. As this said, in a project management degree, 100% of the skill set. So let's say not 100, but 85% of the skill set is going to be tech related, because you need to understand every bit of how does machine learning or analytics or data science or cybersecurity or network um, management actually work for you to delegate stuff and then handle it and supervise and lead it yourself. STEM BA is going to be 75% management and 25% of BA. So essentially, if you're asking me, what does this mean for me, then do I do an MS or do I do an MBA? I think do an MS if you want to be the expert of a specific domain like IT, like computer science, like DS, and then you're coding it, and then you're leading a project, but you're always involved in the technical aspect of it. But when you're doing a STEM MBA, that essentially means that you're telling coders what to do. You're the one orchestrating it. So, for example, an MBA in cybersecurity would essentially mean that you're the chief compliance officer, you're the chief regulatory officer, you're the chief risk officer, you're the chief security officer of a tech-based company like Facebook or Meta or any blockchain company. So, you know what? It is predicted that about 65 to 70% of transactions in the next 5 years will all be online. There will just be very limited transactions on a brick and mortar setup. So What does that mean when we start transacting on platforms like blockchain, metaverse, sorry, with technologies like blockchain on platforms like metaverse, or with these apps like Google Pay, Apple Pay, Paytm, PayPal, everything. What this essentially means is that you will need an increased need of cybersecurity. So I've merged cybersecurity within IT, but that's one of the major chunk of IT. And then of course, cloud computing and cybersecurity. So I'll go one by one. Let me explain to you how the upgrade model works quickly, like in one quick minute, and then eventually I'll take you through the careers, jobs, everything. So what upgrade does is we let you pursue a short graduate certificate in India. And a typical master's degree will be about 30 credits wide, all the way to 36 in the United States. And so what we essentially do is we let you do, so every course is 3 credits wide. So it can either be an MBA or an MSCA, MSDS, MSAI, cybersec of 12 courses. Out of the 12 courses, 3 are done in India. Or if you're going for a 10 course degree, then 2 to 3 are done in India, and then you immediately transfer. So if you're a working professional at this point, as you listen to me on the webinar, you can start right now, immediately get enrolled into the Triple IT Bangalore Advanced Certificate Program in Data Science, do it for 8 months, and immediately move in September of 2023 into the US. By then, 1/3 of your syllabus is already done, which means you spend very little time in the US, but your career is expedited. You still get the STEM visa and you can continue working as long as you want. That's how huge our portfolio is. I'll of course explain you some of the most sought after universities and courses, but it helps you get the visa so quickly. Reason is that if you're changing backgrounds, so say you're coming from BA or BSc or BCom or BBA or any other non-technical degree, you have 8 months to study an in-depth curriculum from IMT Ghaziabad if you're doing a STEM MBA, or from Triple IT Bangalore in case you're doing a data science or AI or IT course. So you get a grade against that. You're already a student of that university in the US from day one. All you've got to do is just finish some courses in India and come in September, like any other student would come in September. But your one semester will be deducted. It will not be required. You will just finish your degree in 2 semesters and you bang on done with the entire degree, and you get a 3-year visa. So right, so your living cost comes down. But I think one of the biggest benefit of this is that your academic readiness is proven. It means that you've just shown the university that, or you've shown the visa officers, or you've got that, you've got absolute demonstration of the fact that you joined a course from a non-technical background, and you already, sort of say, finished the course with a 3 or 3.2 GPA. And so you're all set to now go to the US and then finish your rest of the course. The length of the course comes down, of course, because you, instead of a typical 18 months MBA or MSc or any course in the US, you're just doing 12 months. In certain cases, in certain universities, you just spend 9 months in the US and you're done. Financials, of course, do you know the part-time work in the US is not really a thing. You can just work inside the campus, and because there are limited jobs, that's not for everybody. Now, this essentially means that you save 6 months of living cost and 6 months of tuition fee. So the US does not really have an annual fee. It has per credit cost. So with upgrad, you get 9 credits waived off. Somewhere in some universities, you get up to 12 credits waived off. And what that essentially means is you get $12,000 of tuition fee discount flat, plus you save 6 months of living costs. So essentially, you've just saved 25 lakhs of rupees, almost. And then after it gives you plenty of scholarships. Now I'll just take you through which universities in the US should you go in for. The number one university is Clark University. Clark is in Worcester, Massachusetts, where you got MIT, Harvard, Boston University, UMass, Massachusetts, Boston. You got UMass, BU, MIT, Harvard, and that's where you're essentially going to study. The US has about 4,500 universities. Clark is number 100, almost 100. Clark fee, so Clark with upgrad has a MS Data Analytics course, an MS IT course, and an MS Project Management course. And Clark gives upgrad students 32% scholarship. 32. So instead of 32,000 USD, you know what you're spending? You're going to spend about 16,800 USD and you're done with the entire course. That's almost 50% scholarship. Why? But there's an additional 3 lakh rupees that you give to Triple IT Bangalore for their certificate, against which Clark gives you $6,000 of fee reduction flat, right? Because you've done those 2 courses in India itself. So Clark is a super high ranked university, and Clark graduates earn up to $200,000 also. Then we've got Yeshiva University, which is in Manhattan, New York. Yeshiva is actually right now 246 on QS. That is almost top 1% universities in the world. And Yeshiva is 67 in US ranking as of this moment as we speak. Yeshiva has a data analytics and visualization course. It has an MS artificial intelligence course and an MS cybersecurity course. To get into Yeshiva is very difficult. You need at least 60 to 65% in your bachelor's, and you can't have more than 4 backlogs. But if you are able to secure a seat in Yeshiva, you're all set, because Yeshiva graduates earn at least 150,000 USD. Just it's almost guaranteed that if you went to Yeshiva, you will earn that much money. That is how reputed their school is. Remember, it has the AI cybersec. Then we've got Golden Gate University, which is right here. It's here. This is the street. We've got PwC, Deloitte, LinkedIn, Twitter, Alchemist, EY. Somewhere here is this company called Rocket Space, where Uber was born, where HP was born. I'm sorry. That's Silicon Valley right there for you. Golden Gate University, interestingly. Can I see by raise of hands how many of you are finance graduates here? Finance graduates. Right. So Golden Gate University has a finance MBA, which is a STEM degree. Now, can I know how many of you here are psychology students? Is there anyone who's a psychology student? So just so you know, or if you know anybody, psychology MBA, it's called Industrial Organization Psychology, where you use your psychology theoretical practices to understand human behavior at workplace and constructively build processes that can increase the efficacy and productivity of the workforce at any organization. So you're essentially building the rewards and recognition campaigns, building the work culture, building the processes, building the HR policies in tandem with how the psychology of the human mind works, or how the psyche really works. So GGU has 3 courses. One is MBA, which has finance specialization. It has, so finance would essentially mean you would go and work for investment bankers in the US or blockchain experts in the US, right? Then you have industrial organization psychology, you've got IT concentration, and then you've got business analytics, right? MBA BA would essentially mean that you are telling coders or telling data scientists what to do, what to look out for. How do you, and essentially that means you work closely with data scientists to understand what is to be changed in the organization, or how do you make more responsive, more informed decisions as the CEO or CTO. So Golden Gate is pretty old. It's in the lap of Silicon Valley, almost 121-year-old university. Then you've got Johnson Wales, which has an MBA IT. JW has a 96.8% employability rate. It's going to be an MBA IT. MBA IT would mean that you'd get jobs as a chief or as a manager in the cybersecurity team, manager of the IT security team. You can be a consultant to a tech company. So MBA IT, MBA technologies would mean, so STEM MBAs would essentially give you the impetus of being a consultant to a tech company, of being a consultant to an IT transformation going on in a company. to lead from the front line any digital transformation of any enterprise. Then you've got CWU. So here's my experience of the US. I just want you guys to know that uh, there's a course that CWU has. So number one, well, we'll start one by one. So the US has 4 or 5 concrete hotspots from which tech industry is controlled. One is Texas. The other one is Seattle, where you've got Amazon, Microsoft, um, Starbucks, Expedia, T-Mobile. Their HQs are based. So both Amazon and Microsoft, which are one of the largest, so two of the largest tech firms were founded there. And Meta, which is Facebook's parent entity, and Google have a huge campus there. So all of that is what you get when you move to Seattle. So Central Washington University is in Seattle. So we've got Texas, Seattle, San Francisco, which is Silicon Valley, Palo Alto, Bay Area, and we've got Manhattan, which is New York. I mean, the entire New York state is really good when it comes to employability. So, so I covered the East Coast, which is New York and surrounding cities with Clark University, Yeshiva, and Johnson and Wales. Now we'll come to CWU. CWU has a course that is a good mix of MBA, project management, and data analytics. Anyone from any background can enter this course, and this course is in Seattle, so which means the access that you get to the job market is going to be pretty robust and rigorous. So CWU has an MS I-10 course, IT and Administrative Management, and upgrad course. The upgrad course will get you 12 credits waived off, at CWU, and then essentially, here's the interesting part of CWU. This is a STEM course, and it's going to finish in 9 months, and you get the 3-year visa. Then we've got Utica University in New York, which gives you an MBA Cybersecurity and MBA Business Analytics. Utica, the fee structure is 14,000 USD. So essentially, if you were a student, I'll tell you how much would it cost you. Almost 11.5 lakhs, and you're done. 11.5 lakhs, and you are done with your MBA in the United States, in New York State, right? Here are 2 other parts of the world that I would like you to pay attention to. UK is a great part. So when you do the IIIT Bangalore graduate certificate, you can move to the UK as well, right? So you've got and not sometimes we always think about the UK is doing very bad economically, but I think data science, computer science, technology, AI, these fields will never die. And they're explicitly mentioning that they want more talent. Here's the interesting part about the UK. UK gives you a 1-year placement. So as soon as you are done with your degree, you get 1 year of industrial practice with yourself. It's called it's called the professional practice. It's called the placement year or the internship, and you can work for that one complete year and earn money. And then of course you get a 2-year work visa called GIR. And Germany, I don't think I need to explain Germany so much, but Germany is one of the largest economies in the world. It's number 4, it's just above India, which is number 5. Germany's benefit is that Germany is very affordable. It has part-time work on site campus, and Germany is the hub or the hotspot of engineering, technology, manufacturing. So you've got Daimler Chrysler, which is the Mercedes parent group. You've got BMW, you've got Capgemini, you've got Lufthansa Consulting Group, BCG, McKinsey, Deloitte, EY, KPMG, PricewaterhouseCooper. Then Germany has, the entire Volkswagen Group. Germany has almost, Bosch and Panasonic, and you name it. I mean, Germany is one of the largest hotspots with tech and manufacturing. So doing a data science degree in Germany is absolutely worth it, because there's just so much of commercialization happening. And Germany is actually #1 economy in Europe, right? So here's the Masters of Science in Data Science. That's in the UK. It's in London, Roehampton. The benefit of studying in London essentially is that your job market is going to be really robust and huge, and so the chances of employability are extremely high. University of Roehampton will teach you in 9 months and you're done with your degree. So you will do some portion with Triple IT Bangalore. You get 1/3 of the curriculum waived off. So this, a typical UK master is 180 credits, and 60 credits will get waived off by Triple IT Bangalore, and then you do 120 in 9 months, and then you would get to 1 year practice or placement, and then you're done. So, and placement for the most part is going to be paid, right? So studying data analytics and science, big data, data engineering, analytics and visualization, cloud computing, everything. And of course you study machine learning, all of this in the heart of London. The other university in Germany, in Potsdam, um, it's called UE, University of Europe for Applied Sciences, one of the top 10 universities in Germany, private, that gives you a DS degree, and 93% employability rate exists. And what all you've got to do is, so if you're a 3-year degree holder, University of Europe will not accept you directly because they need a 4-year degree. But if you're a 3-year holder, you can complete the 4th year with us at Triple IT Bangalore, and they will accept you straight with almost 30% scholarship, 30%. And UE is just 1-year degree, it's just a 60 CPS degree, and it's done. And of course, you get more certifications from IBM, Facebook, W, Amazon Web Services. AWS, in fact, is one of the most coveted skill set in the world at this point. And AWS in-depth knowledge, tools, system development is actually taught at Triple IT Bangalore. Also, AWS is one of the most expensive skills to learn. Now, here's some uh, careers that you can get as a computer science expert. So you get software developer, computer hardware engineer, network architect, database administrator, information security analyst, computer system analyst, web developer. And one of the largest recruiters from these universities are going to be Adobe, Microsoft, Apple, Deloitte, Capgemini, KPMG, and Meta. If you're doing a data analytics degree, then you can be a data analyst, scientist, BI analyst. So BI will use Power BI, W, SQL, NoSQL, Hadoop, XYZ. You can be a marketing analyst and operations analyst. One of the things that I didn't mention to you is that when you do if you're from the can I see by raise of hands how many of you are from the medical background, please? If there's anyone from a biology background, right? So the entire COVID vaccination research and all of these watches that you wear, Fitbit, Apple watches, they work on bioinformatics. So they collect a lot, a large chunk of data points from a sleep cycle, walking cycle, running cycle, or any biological cycle that they want to record, and then make automated decisions for us, or they record and give us an analytical view of what are we likely to do and how much are we likely to uh, take steps, how much do we need to run, how much heart rate do we have, XYZ. So this is a very important part that's called health analytics and bioinformatics. And one of the most interesting part is all hospitals will essentially start getting automated. So AI, machine learning, data scientists, computer scientists have a lot of role in hospitals and healthcare. So we've in University of West Florida in Florida with upGrad, you have a health analytics course. Similarly, in Alabama, Troy University, you've got the bioinformatics complete course, right? So that's something you do. So Deloitte, PwC, Amazon, and AWS, EY, Microsoft, Meta are the largest recruiters. If you're from the taxation, accounting, finance, auditing background, PwC, KPMG, Deloitte, McKinsey make a lot of sense. They're always looking for auditors, accounting folks who know data science. If you've done bioinformatics from University of West Florida, or if you've done bioinformatics or health analytics from Troy University, then you will become a bioanalyst, pharmacologist, computational chemist, design and maintenance, proteomics, pharmacogenomics, pharmacology, informatics developers. So essentially, all of these hospitals and pharmaceutical chains that need data-driven decision making on how, while drug sampling and everything else, how is what kind of a drug responding. All of the COVID vaccination research where they did so many tests in so little time just to see which drug, is better and more active on which kind of virus mutation. All of this is bioinformatics. And the top recruiters will be AstraZeneca, Bharat Biotech, GlaxoSmithKline, so GSK, Moderna, which is in the US, Pfizer, Zydus, and Serum Institute of India. So, of course, bioinformatics, any vaccination developer would need it at this point. And if you're doing an MBA from the finance background, you get a consultant job in an IT company. That can be McKinsey, PwC, KPMG, or you get into the BMW. So depends if you. So even Germany has so many IT MBAs like engineering management, IT management, uh, technology management, so on and so forth. And so American Express, FedEx, Marriott, the hotels, healthcare, electronic companies, like that's the point. That's upGrad's portfolio. Clarkson is in New York, Troy is in Alabama, City University Seattle is in Seattle, Golden Gate in San Francisco. We've also got an MBA that you can do in cloud computing from Canada, Vancouver, and that is it. And then we've got a university in Ireland as well, where we've got an MS in data analytics. You can do Ireland as well. And you don't need any GRE when you go with upGrad because you don't need to prove your academic readiness. Reason being because you've already proven your academic integrity with the postgraduate certificate that you have, and you get tons of scholarship. Almost all of these universities will give you scholarship like 30%, 25%. Some of them will give you scholarships. So even Yeshiva, their typical degree is $40,000. They give our students a degree within 22,000 USD. So it's that we will make sure that we cut down the entire cost, by almost half. Let's take up some questions. Still, what will be the session? It is done. Will it be easy for a commerce graduate to do a STEM designated course? 100% yes. upGrad courses can be done by anybody. Hi, sir. Basically, I came from mechanical background, working in a supply chain management department. In future, I'm going to move to IT sector. I think project management should be the best one for you. That's my take, Hari, because project management is the easiest fit from, or the easiest switch from a non-technical background to a tech background. If not, then you do an MS Business and Analytics. If not, then you do an MS, a master. Sorry, if not, then you do an MBA with Business Analytics specialization, which will give you a STEM MBA. Can you please increase your volume? I hope I was loud enough because I just read this now. I hope I was audible. So sorry, but I just read this. What job role does an MBA Business Analytics degree offer opposed to an MS Business Analytics? Great question. So MBA is essentially 75% business and 25% tech skills, right? If you're doing an MBA, MSBA is all the way from natural language process. So MS Business Analytics is a typical data science degree. Uska bas naam hai वैसा. Just because it is applied BS in terms of multiple businesses, like how do you use it in healthcare? How do you use it in finance? How do you use it in, let's say, how do you use it in the hospitality industry? How do you use it in the engineering study? How do you use it in the media industry? So but at least 80% of it is just machine learning, Python, natural language processing, predictive modeling. How do you use these languages? How do you SQL, NoSQL? How do you use business intelligence tools like SQL, NoSQL, ये सब चीजें होती है. MBA BA is this. MBA BA would mean that you are the chief advisor or the architect for data scientists that are already in your team. I hope that makes sense to you. How many months prior to the completion of study do you apply for an OPT? So OPT can be applied, I think, up to 30 to 45 days prior, um, when you're about to finish. No, so it's the ISSO that will help you apply for the OPT, the International Student Office, the service, uh, the Student Service Center that's there, the ISSO. They will help you with the OPT because there's a visa status scheme that's involved. Is there a non-IT, non-computer MBA? Yes, yes, yes. So we've got Golden Gate University that gives you a STEM MBA in finance, a STEM MBA in psychology, a STEM MBA in business analytics. But yeah, if you don't want BA, then I think finance is the one for you. Can we have one more look of the colleges list? Yeah, yeah, sure. There you go. Clark University, Yeshiva, Golden Gate University. Here's the Golden Gate map. Johnson Wales, Central Washington University with the, remember, the killer mixture of data. So this degree is called MSIT and Administrative Management in data analytics. So from the 12 subjects that they have, almost 5 of them are just data analytics. From the 7, you do project management and MBA both. It's a killer course and they give you tons of scholarships. And you're in Seattle, remember, that's the hub of job market. Um, and then, of course, all of that. We've got more universities like Troy University, we've got Touro University, we've got University of West Florida. There are so many of them. Can we have one more? So this is done. Are we going to get a recording of the session? Yes, you can. My colleague Arushi will give you the recording. Is there any course related to blockchain? So blockchain is a good mix of data science. Blockchain is a good mix of your tech and computing skills. And essentially, I think the fact that you do a DS course coupled with a little bit of financial management or fintech, you should have it there. So I think Golden Gate University is going to be a good fit for you to do blockchain. Can a marketing based background student? 100%. So our Golden Gate University's program called MS Business and Analytics has a marketing concentration. Concentration in the US actually means that it's a specialized track. So there you learn about marketing analytics. How do you take more data driven decisions towards your marketing campaigns? You learn more about web and analytics. You learn more about social media analytics and how do you make sure that you study that right. So yeah, we have it in most of our MSBA. There will be a marketing concentration. So Gaurav, you'll go with a F1 visa, typical F1 student visa. और जब आप 2 terms कर लोगे, then you can apply for a CPT or you can just go for an OPT. If I enroll with US, does it guarantee me a US visa? So when you enroll with, I think you mean upGrad, right? So if you enroll with upGrad, you are the US university student from day one. You get an offer, and then you are a typical US student like anyone else. It's just that you're doing the first 2 courses in India, which is so the US visa chances are not any different from any normal student. You're a similar student. Is that you're spending way little time, way less money in the US to complete your studies, but you're getting the same jobs, the same length of post-study work visa, everything. Can 1 year MBA still offer a 3-year post-study work visa? Yes, 100%, 100%, yes. So 3-year post-study work visa for the STEM degrees. Please provide me with the recording. Yes, sir, we will. I've done my bachelor's with arts. Is MBA the right choice or MSBA? MBA is the right choice. Do you have master's in computer science? Yes, 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 yes. So computer science we've got in University of West Florida, in Troy University, Alabama, and computer science is also in City University, Seattle. Computer science is also in University of Campbellsville. We've got all that. Also, Clark University now has a marketing analytics MBA. Also that. So we have computer science. Computer science can be in game design, bioinformatics, AI. So computer science, remember, is the basic course. It's the foundation that you need. Our MSCS would be in data science, in AI, in video game design, and cybersecurity, multiple things. So, we've got a huge list of that. Are there any MS or MBA programs in engineering analytics? Yes, almost all MSBA will have a concentration that can help you do engineering management. Gaurav will go ahead with F1 visa. I hope I answered that. Which is the most economical course that can help move abroad? Good meet. I think American courses that we have now are pretty affordable now. You're studying in about 11.5 lakhs, but still, if you want to go to so if you want to go to the US, that's going to be cheapest. Else, Golden Gate University gives you about 70% scholarship, 70% if you score good in your upgrad portion. The other thing that I can recommend you is that you go to Germany, which is going to cost you about 8.5 lakhs more than that. Is there any good courses related to electronics and aeronautical? Namrata, essentially, if you do a computer science or IT degree in computer system development or network development or network system architecture and all of that, or distributed system development, you're doing a good mix of computer science and electronics. But aeronautical, we don't have. But yes, you can work for the aeronautical industry in Germany and the US if you are a good data analyst or data scientist. I come from marketing background. I'm so sorry. I want to build my career in core IT. You should do a data analytics course with marketing and analytics, so you're on a good side of things and it's easier for you. MBA and undergrad for two people going together, one undergrad, one MBA STEM, any options? So undergrad should be MSCS and MBA STEM should be business and analytics or finance or psychology or cybersecurity, everything. But if you want to make, if you are pushing me to make one pick, it's always going to be business analytics, 100%. Next best pick is going to be IT. For undergrad in the United States, just the BSCS works, BS Computer Science, or Bachelor of Business Economics or Bachelor of Business Information Systems. All of them are STEM bachelor degrees. Undergrad psychology. Yeah, we've got business and psychology in the US, in the UK. We've got psychology in the US. And essentially, universities in the US give you so many electives that you can pick from across the university. So I think psychology should be a good fit. Jobs after the MBA program. So in the UK, in US, and Germany, we will provide you career assistance 100%. Help you with internships, help you with jobs. How bright is data science supply chain industry? So data science is essentially important for global logistics management, for supply and demand, predictive modeling, for predicting future trends, for predicting what's going to run out of supply soon and what is required when, and then studying chunks of data to understand which resources, which natural resources, which artificial resources, which natural gas or semi-finished products or raw materials need to be replenished, and what are some of the trends, what is going to be altered or influenced by geopolitical scenarios across the world. All of that is a huge industry. US is the biggest trade hub. China and the US. So Texas McCombs. No, we don't. Is there any scope of doing undergrad maths? Actuarial sciences, yes. Maths, I don't know. Do you have more health and life sciences courses part of management? Yes. We've got an MBA in Edgewood College in healthcare management. 100% yes. That gives you roles like the chief administrative officer or chain of hospitals, or makes you the chief of staff, of hospital. I am 33 years old, spent 6 years in the US working as a data quality engineer. Want to change my domain from IT and to non-IT? You mentioned I can pursue MBA finance. Oh, 100% yes. What it doesn't. No, I don't think it matters. Look, as long as you were an MBA aspirant, the gap is going to be okay. As long as the gap is rationalized, you are working, there will be no visa refusal. Don't worry about it. And MBA finance makes sense. MBA psychology makes sense. MBA business analytics makes sense. Everything is good. But finance, of course, I would like. For US visa, when is the visa applied? What's the guarantee for getting the F1 visa after joining it? So the 3-year PGWP is guaranteed with a STEM course. So you apply with your IELTS, you apply with your scorecard of triple ITB or your bachelor's, you get an offer letter. The offer letter will ask you or prompt you to make a deposit, let's say 2500 USD. After that, I-20 will be released, and after I-20, so prior to I-20, you have to show them the proof of funds. You don't have to give them any money, you have to show them the proof of funds. Once you've shown them the proof of funds, you're going to be okay. And then finally, you pay the fee after you go there. I mean, that depends on you. Can non-CS student, BTech student do MS in CS? Yes, yes, yes. I just told you that 100% they can. They can do anything. Full fee. So Rahul, the first year fee is going to be about 16,000 US. So sorry, the first 6 months is going to be 16,000 USD, from which you get a 70% discount or scholarship. And when you go to the US, the fee is going to be about 16, 17,000 USD. So essentially, you will spend about 17, 18 lakhs. MSBA or MBA and BA. I think so. MBA, BA is 75% management skills and 25% BA tools like Python, R, and how to use them. MSBA is a typical data analytics and a data science degree. Typically, it has Python, machine learning, statistical and linear regression. It will have natural language processing, predictive modeling, and analytics. It'll have proper data science specific tools like Hadoop, AWS, or all of that. It'll have. What's the fee for MBA? So I've covered this. So most of our courses in upGrad are going to be about 16 to 17,000 US dollars. How are the employers for jobs going to take this differently? One, they don't get to know because on your scorecard, you have a normal degree like anyone else. Plus, technically, you've not done a semester or 2 semesters or 3 semesters here or there or elsewhere. You've done 2 of the courses while you were in India, still working, or while you were still in India. 2 courses have been done in advance. Students do it all the time. There's a concept called credit transfer. It happens all the time. So nobody takes it differently. As long as you spend 1 year in the US, more than enough. Story finished. Master does anyway for 1 year anyway. I mean, from 1 year to 1.5, but 1 year is the standard. Yes, Vanchika, very much so. You can do an MSDA degree in New York, MSDA degree in Seattle. You can do an MSDA degree in Florida. You can do an MSDA degree in Alabama. Anywhere in the US will help you. And we will give you at least 20, 30% of scholarship. Yes, Rahul, I have taken your email. One second. Thanks, Rahul. We'll get this done. Yes, BTech textile to DS is doable. Clark is a good option. BA and UG, can I go for MSBA? 100% yes, you can. I think will pursuing engineering management give enough opportunities to get into internships? So I think the most amount of opportunities that you will get is MS Business Analytics, MS Cybersecurity, MS IT. US is a typical IT hub, and that's what they like foreign talent for a lot, and they prefer and recommend. How about the healthcare management? Is it STEM? Yes, that's a STEM degree, healthcare management MBA, and they give you 3 year of work visa. Yes, and so MBA for 12, 13, 14 years of experience is absolutely fine. Can non-CS student do MS and CS? Yes, 100%. US visa can be applied 4 months prior to your intake. Uh, I I am doing a certificate course in blockchain. So which course will be more helpful? I think you should do an MS data analytics course, 100%, or if not, then MBA finance. Blockchain and finance are a killer combination. How tough is it for a commerce background student to do masters in DS? Super easy. Like remember, I told you right that you go through triple IT Bangalore route. So universities will never have an issue, and so won't the consulates have ever issue. They will never have an issue with uh, the fact that you are not from that background because you've done about through Triple IT Bangalore, you've done 650 hours of rigorous training in machine learning, data analytics, toolkit, Python, Mongo, AWS, R, Hadoop, all of that is some. Undergrad psychology, I think that's what I answered. How tough is it for a commerce background student to do masters in DSES? So I think data science should be your pick and just get the Triple IT Bangalore course. Is it a collaborative program in Triple IT online? No, it's online, so you can keep working in the parallel. To MBA in management operations fall under STEM. So MBA IT falls under STEM, MBA business analytics falls under STEM, MBA cyber security, MBA finance, MBA industrial organization psychology, MBA IT management, all of them fall under STEM. I hope I've answered everything else. Thank you so much, everybody. Yes, placement assistance is given. We do help you with your career and what. And 45-year MBA tool will not be an issue in any ACSP approved MBA. Yes, we've got ACSP approved MBA in Clarkson University, which is also a very recognized university. We've got AACSB in St. Martin's University, Washington. They will also have MBA AACSB St. Martin's. Um, MBA Best University and upGrad will stand for healthcare entrepreneurs and analytics. I think for STEM for healthcare, uh, I think the best school will be Turo. Turo in Manhattan is one of the most sought after healthcare schools. One of the most sought after healthcare schools in New York. I think that's the one that I would like you to go to as a healthcare management student. I think pay wise, DS is going to be the highest. Yes, from textile to DS is an easy transition. I like to MBA because look, as long as you've done a BTech, that's okay. I would like to do MBA and MBA. I think MBA is a better fit, and where I think Golden Gate University is a good one. If not, the New York, Utica, and or else if you got some money as your budget, then maybe Clark University will be a great fit for you. Clark will have a school, a MBA degree starting any moment now. From IT to healthcare is easy because you're doing a lot of technology in healthcare, you're doing a lot of technology in supply chain. As long as you've got a great job, they can. I think also a lot of, like I told you, right? So many hospitals and so many logistics companies are now looking to get automated. Supply chain is becoming automated all throughout. Germany has courses in smart factories that are being automated. Absolutely. Right. So that is very much there. Sushil, MS data science is going to be the best fit for you. All right. I think that should be the end of it. I hope I answered every single question. I put my email address. My colleague Arushi has put down certain web pages for you to now um, choose from a range of our courses. I put down my email. I wish you guys all the best. Have a happy, happy, happy Saturday, and thank you for giving us your Saturday evening. I am hoping that it was absolutely worth it. Thank you so much, everybody. You'll get the recording and you get the PowerPoint super soon. Thank you. Good luck. Also, upGrad until the 30th of November is our first batch where we're giving you abundant scholarships. So sign up, or you'll get a call, and we'll get started. Thank you very much.